No, we can't. Only God can. But we can and should aim for its human equivalent. I'll explain those two sentences. First of all, Romans 4:16-17 says, believers of all ethnicities will receive the promise God made to Abraham through Christ on the basis of possessing a similar faith to that of Abraham. But verse 17 additionally describes the God whom Abraham rooted his faith in as the God who gives life to the dead and calls into being things that were not. And a lot of believers, perhaps yourself included, conclude that if God calls into being things that were not, then we should likewise be able to do so as well. But why? That's not a necessary conclusion to make from that passage, nor does the scripture anywhere else encourage us to go that route. Now, if we must interpret it that way, then must we also accept that we too, in and of ourselves, can give life to the dead? Only God can do that. So no, we cannot decree things into existence because only God can. Now to the second part. You see, scripture does regularly call us to be godly, that is, imitate God. For instance, Jesus in Matthew 5:45 and 48 calls us to be like God by loving our enemies. However, because we can't display any of God's attributes perfectly, we must aim for its human equivalence. So how can we aim for the human equivalence of Romans 4:17? It can begin with being used by God to perform miracles. That is, God working through us to restore situations with undesirable conditions in this world to what they will be in the world to come. It can also extend to being entrepreneurial towards a variety of things, just like God. For example, when our businesses, careers, kids, spiritual lives, physical lives, ministries, or even communities aren't where we want them to be, we can visualize a desired state for them and work towards it. Don't miss that. It requires working towards it. So what about speaking then? Well, we can engage in that, not as prayer, because prayer is always speaking to God, but as a psychological exercise to aid the journey of actualizing that desired state. The psalmist in Psalm 42 verse 5 and 11 actively speaks to himself regarding what he desires his spiritual state to be despite all his troubles. It required more than speaking, but no less than it. So for some of us, speaking can serve as a reminder, rebuke, or motivation that psychologically propels us towards the visualized state, but not as the instrument of bringing it to pass. So no, we cannot decree things into existence. Only God can. But we certainly can and should aim for its human equivalence.